All right, so we're back for day 3 of Shipmas, and today the features that I've shipped continue the theme of just reducing the friction to customize your agents. So the first feature was the ability to override the models that are used, the default models that your models use, both at a global level and then also specifically to a session. And then the second feature is, I'll show it, but reducing the number of clicks to modify your agents in a session. So for that first feature, for some background, recently I introduced the concept of a default model. Like, you're no longer required to set a model for your agent, and if you don't, it'll fall back to a default. And when I made that change, actually, I also introduced splitting the agent configuration so that you can define a separate text model and a separate voice model. So that was because, I had just set GPT-5 as the default for both text and voice, and since it's a reasoning model, you can imagine that when you're in voice mode, it takes a lot of time to think, and some of the feedback that I got back was just that the voice mode was kind of unusable, just because the models, it gives better, more well thought out responses that you'd expect from a reasoning model, but the latency just made it so it was not a natural conversation. So I introduced the ability to define a separate text model and a voice model. And then, I introduced defaults if you choose not to specify, which the defaults I thought are reasonable. 5.1, a good reasoning model for text where maybe you have more of a tolerance for latency. And then a quicker model, 4.0, that's not a reasoning model if you are in voice mode. But I found that, it's a little annoying. If you don't agree with those defaults, recently we had Gemini 3 Pro that was released. Maybe you want to start using that model. And then right after that, we had Anthropic release Opus 4.5. So with the previous state, if you wanted to experiment with these models, you have to go in and for each individual model, edit it and override the default, go to custom, go here to Anthropic, Opus 4.5, save the agent. And that's just a lot of clicks. And then so for improved quality of life, and also just a lot of these improvements also I come across when testing this to make it easier for me to test and move more quickly. I introduced the ability to override these defaults. So you can go here, and then I can go here and let's say I actually want to make Gemini 3 Pro my default, and maybe I want to use Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite for voice, have a quicker voice experience. So and then if you go here to a chat, you can also override the defaults for the chat. So as you can see, now the default shows Gemini 3 and Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite, whatever. If I want to experiment switching between models within the context of my session alone and not modify the rest of the sessions, I can do that now, and I can override it at the session level. So I can go like this, 2.5 Pro, save it, and then so that's just makes it easier to experiment with changing the configurations for your agents in the session. Also makes it easier for me to test. And then the second feature, just reducing the number of clicks to modify your agents in a session. As you can see, when you hover over these agent chips, I kind of upgraded these, and you can just go in here and then modify it. Let's say I want to quickly change the model. Let's say GPT-5 mini or something. I want to update the agent. Yesterday we introduced the concept of session scoped agents. You can make a copy of an existing agent that is specific to the session, so you can modify it, change it up whenever you want, and not have to worry about it changing agents that are used in other sessions. So we see that same dialog here. Save the agent, and then it's updated right away. Just the ability to remove an agent whenever you want, easily. Let's just remove this agent. yeah, so this just makes it easier to do it from here rather than having to go to this dialog, which is an extra click. Or if you want to edit the agents before, opening up the entire dialog. Instead, if you want to remove an agent, you can just cross it out. So again, yeah, just wanting to, the motivation behind this was just reducing the friction to modify the agents. And this is all working towards what's coming up next, which is, I want to make it easier for you to just drop in like a base model into the chat, change between different models, in a smooth, natural way, without having to leave the context of the session. And so, again, just introducing features to reduce that friction to modify these agents. But yeah, that was day 3 of Shipmas, and I'll be back tomorrow.